Hi everybody, my name is Freebo, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the bass. It's a Tacoma semi-acoustic bass, and I want to talk to you about the idea of the role of the bass in music, the choice of notes you have to play and why you choose those notes to play. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I've been a bass player for most of my life. Actually, I didn't really pick it up till I was 21 years old, but I always thought bass. Bass is really a concept. It's really the ultimate harmony part of the music. You usually think of the harmony as the third. If I play this, then it'll be the harmony. If I play this, the root, and the root goes with that. I think of the bass almost as a counter melody, and so when I play the bass, I have to know what notes to play. I picked it up. I had piano lessons when I was a kid. Kind of taught me the rudiments of music, and I always listened to the bass. I always liked that part. I always liked in choir music. I always liked the bass parts. When I got into high school, I took the tuba. Even though I was playing football and basketball, I decided I wanted to play the tuba. I always liked that part of the music, got to do that. And when I joined the choir, when my voice changed, I sang bass. Again, I always had an affinity for that part of the music. And when I started playing guitar and I would jam with somebody, I would go to those root notes, and that's kind of how I got involved in rock and roll. Somebody said, "Hey, you hear the bass, why don't you be the bass player in the band?" I said, "Okay, I can do that." So I just started doing it, and the more I did it, the more I learned about it, and the better I got at it. And before you know it, I was bass player in a rock and roll band, and before you know it, it was to another rock and roll band, and starting to make records, and met a young Bonnie Raitt, and worked with her on her first 8 records, and over 10 years we played together, recorded, toured together. And she put a band together, worked with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Neil Young, Maria Muldaur, a whole lot of folks. And then I became a songwriter. But that's in a whole other video, songwriting. This is about bass playing. So let me give you the basics of bass playing. It's all based on a scale, and I'm going to do it in the key of E. This note is an E on a bass. E, A, D, G. These notes are a fourth apart. What's a fourth? A fourth is, just go up the musical alphabet. Musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, no H, and it repeats. So if I start on E, it's E is F sharp, but let's do the letters. E, F, G, A. E, F, G, A. That happens to be an A. A, B, C, D. It's a D. D, E, F, G. Okay, so these notes are a fourth apart. From E to A is a fourth. E, F, G, A. Start A, B, C, D, and then D, E, F, G. Everything's a fourth apart. And it's all based off of a scale. The scale is, a lot of people go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. I prefer to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you know the scale, it's good to know your scales. They may not be fun to play, but it's really what it's all about. It's kind of like spelling. You know, you may not enjoy learning how to spell when you first learn how to, read and write. But if you can't do that, you can't write, and basically you can't read. So it's a very important thing to do. In the scale, those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Numbers 1, 3, and 5 make up the chord. Arpeggio is just the notes of the scale. So if I were to play it on guitar, it would be like this. One, 3, know that in the key of E, in the E scale, that the notes of the chord are 1, 3, and 5. And then back to 1. An octave, when you get up to the next one, it's an octave. So this is an E, and this is an E, and this is an E, and there's an E up here. They're all E's. The notes that I can play when somebody's playing an E chord, the basic note that I would want to play with an E chord would be an E. I can play this E, or I can play this E, or I can play this E, whichever one feels right. It's always my first choice. It's called the root, you know, or the one of the chords. So usually so I'm going to play the root of an E chord, which is an E. But I don't have to play that. That's just my first choice. What I can also play is the 5 of an E chord, because that note is in an E chord. Chords made up of notes 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5. So I can play any one of those notes. So I might start on the 1 instead of going, let's say we're in 4/4 time, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. This would be the simple thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? Just whole notes on E. Suppose I did half notes that go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Very simple. Just one note. They all work with an E chord. Or I go quarter notes. They all work with an E chord depending on the rhythm of the song. So I have all these rhythmical choices on this note in E, in an E chord. But I can also go, instead of the 1 of that chord or the root, I can go to the 5 of that chord. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden now I'm beginning a pattern. This would be a 1-5 pattern, or 1, 5. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. You hear this pattern all the time in bass. Like an oompa. So that's my first choice is the 1. Second choice is a 5, or this 5 up here. It's the same note. This 5 up here. You get to know your fretboard after a while. My third choice, my first choice is a 1. My second choice is a 5. My third choice is a 3. Remember, chords made up of 1, 3, and 5. So I can play a 1, a 5, or a 3. So I can go or 1, 5, 3, 5. Or 1, 3, 5. Or throw in a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's a classic bass pattern. 1, 3, 5, 6. Instead of going down, I go. This note and this note are the same note. Go down, and go up. Bop, 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 bop. All with the E chord. Bop, 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 bop. The A chord. Bop, 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 bop. What did I do with that A chord? Same thing I did with E. This is an A. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4 chord. So when I get to the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I do the same thing. Now this becomes a new, it gets a little confusing, it becomes a new tonic. Basically when I'm thinking with an A chord, now I got to know what an A chord is. So I got to think with an A scale.